We will talk high heels and empathy in Texas. We'll also be talking about the Nashville statement. Are Christians really just sort of saying what they've always believed? Plus, Nancy Pelosi does something good. I'll explain. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show. So yesterday, President Trump traveled to Texas with Melania, and they landed in, I think it was Corpus Christi, where they met with the governor of Texas as well, Greg Abbott. We'll talk about everything that sprang therefrom and what the media's narrative has been. Of course, it's been a garbage narrative, and we'll talk about what that is. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Indochino. So, you want to look good. You're a dude, and you want to look good. And you don't know the first thing about suits. All you do is you go to your local department store and you pick something off the rack and you think, oh, this is probably fine. No, it looks like you're wearing drapes. That's why you need to go over to my friends at Indochino, okay? They give you customized suits. They get you customized suits that are tailor-made for you, and they are making it very, very easy. You choose from hundreds of top-quality fabrics. You personalize your suit just the way you want it, whether for work, a wedding, or another special occasion. They've suited up hundreds of thousands of men. My favorite suit is an Indochino suit. It's actually a three-piecer. I don't wear it that often because, you know, vests, but it's pretty cool, and it fits perfectly because that's what Indochino is in the business of doing. You can either go over to one of their showrooms in some major cities, or you can go over to Indochino.com and shop online. You pick your fabric, you choose your customizations from lapels to pleats to jacket linings. You submit your measurements online, then you place your order, and you wait for it to arrive in just a few weeks. This week, my listeners get any premium Indochino suit for just $379 at Indochino.com when you enter Shapiro at checkout. That's Indochino.com. Enter Shapiro at checkout, and you get any premium Indochino suit for just $379, less than you would pay for an off-the-rack suit at one of those expensive department stores. That's 50% off the regular price for a made-to-measure premium suit. Plus, the shipping is free. Again, it's the suit that will fit you best, and it's the suit that will look the best. You can select the material. You can make all the customizations you want. Super cool. You sort of feel like James Bond that you get these custom-made suits. Indochino.com, promo code Shapiro for any premium suit for under $379 and free shipping. So go check it out right now, Indochino.com, and use that promo code Shapiro so that they know that we sent you as well. Okay, so yesterday, President Trump goes to Texas. And the reason that we have politicians go to these places is because if we don't, then the media suggests that they're bad people. That's how this game works. When George W. Bush did a flyover of Hurricane Katrina back in 2007, then the media went nuts. How dare George W. Bush do such a thing? How could George W. Bush not actually land in New Orleans and take care of business on the ground? Like, I always thought this was stupid because I'm not sure exactly why it is that, sorry, it was 2005. I'm not sure why it is that George W. Bush, like, what was he going to do on the ground? Was he going to, like, get out and start bailing? Like, was he going to go to a homeless shelter and start handing out food in a way that no other two human hands on the planet could do? It seems like a massive distraction to me. Whenever a president does this, it seemed like a distraction. When Obama wanted to do this during Hurricane Sandy, and then Chris Christie hosted him in New Jersey, I'm not a big fan of this whole, the president has to go there like he's the king, like he's the emperor, and he must land, and now he will bring order to a chaotic situation. Like, did anyone feel more secure that Trump went? That's not a rip on Trump. That's a rip on the system. Trump did what he had to do. He went there because if he hadn't, then the media would have ripped him up and down. So naturally, the media focused on a couple of aspects of this that are completely irrelevant. The federal response to Hurricane Harvey has been quite good so far. There's been no evidence that the feds have been asleep on the job, asleep at the switch. The state response has been quite good. The city response, the local response has been quite good. Everybody did what they've been doing, which is why you have this historic flooding in Houston, and I believe we're still in single digits as far as the number of people who are dead, which every one of those is a tragedy, but let's be real. If this flood happened in a third world country, we'd be talking about tens of thousands of people dead, not I think it's now 6 individuals dead in this flooding, 7 individuals dead. By the time it's over, I'm sure there will be a couple of dozen people who died. But that is a testament to the emergency services and the capacity of the government to help out in situations like this. But is that what the media are focused on? No. They're focused on all the optics. Because whenever Trump visits any place, it's all about the optics. So Trump arrives, and he's wearing his USA hat, because that's what he does. And Melania, all of the focus is on Melania in terms of a lot of the optics. So the first focus was on the fact that when she was leaving the White House, she was wearing heels. Okay, so she then changed on the plane, and she was wearing sneakers when she got there, which makes some sense. But why do we care about her shoes again? Just confused as to that. Oh, no, she was wearing heels. Zach Braff of Scrubs fame said that he wanted to dress in Melania's heels for Halloween. You want to do Melania going to a disaster zone for Halloween. And then Melania shows up, and she looks beautiful because she's a beautiful woman, and she's wearing a hat that says on it, FLOTUS. As First Lady of the United States. So you've got Trump wearing his USA hat, and she's wearing a hat that says who she is, which I got to admit, I'm never a huge fan of this particular look. When it would be the equivalent of me wearing a Ben Shapiro Thug Life hat around. Like, it's just, like, if you don't know who Melania is, she's the wife of the president. Like, did you pick up on that? So, not my favorite thing, but is it a big deal? Of course it's not a big deal. Like, seriously, that's the big deal? So Trump arrives, and Trump talks about the cleanup in Texas.
And I can tell you that my folks just telling me how great your representatives have been in working together. It's a real team, and we want to do it better than ever before. We want to be looked at in 5 years and 10 years from now as this is the way to do it. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. People were saying this is all self-aggrandizing. Okay, have you never met Trump? Have you never seen the guy? Like, so the hell what? Is the job getting done or is the job not getting done? And then what they really jumped on is he shows up at basically it looks like a truck yard in Corpus Christi, and he starts sort of pitching himself as a public figure. He talks about the crowd, right? He talks about crowd size because this is Trump's shtick. Okay, if you don't get it by now, then you're never going to get it. This is what Trump does. I want to say we love you. You are special. We're here to take care. It's going well. And I want to thank you for coming out. We're going to get you back and operating immediately. Thank you, everybody. What a crowd. What a turnout. I want to thank our governor. Your governor has done a fantastic job. Governor Abbott, thank you very much. Who's right here someplace? He's right here. So we just want to thank your governor, Senator Cruz, Senator Cornyn, everybody, Dan. We want to thank the whole group.
Okay, so everybody in the media goes nuts over this. How could he say what a crowd? How could he say what a turnout? Why is his focus on the crowd and the turnout? Okay, I admit, it's uncouth. Does anyone really care? Is this the biggest deal? Oh, what a crowd. Like, that's what we're gonna nitpick over now? He's doing a good job with the response, but that's what we're going to nitpick over. And then they double down because Trump also said that this is all about, how it's going to be, that he wants people to be able to congratulate each other when this is over on their response. Again, is this a big deal?
No, we won't say congratulations. We don't want to do that. We don't want to congratulate. We'll congratulate each other when it's all finished. But you have been terrific.
Like Greg Abbott looking real awkward there. And so the media, of course, decide that this is just insane. Because really the story here is not Trump's capacity and his administration's capacity to handle a disaster. Let's be real about this for 1 second. Okay, a month ago, if you would have said there's a major disaster on American soil, do you think the Trump administration can handle it? The media would universally have said no. They would have said he's understaffed, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's a buffoon. And the handling of this has been pretty good. And the handling of this has been pretty smooth. So instead, what the media choose to focus on is empathy. They choose to focus on feelings. Trump, you see, wasn't empathetic enough. Here's a little montage cut by our own Robert Kraychik over at Daily Wire of all the members of the media focusing in on just the horrific nature of Trump's statements. How could he not be more empathetic? Where is the man's empathy? Where are his feelings? Where is his heart?
And briefly, did Donald Trump have his empathy moment today?
He didn't have the empathy moment yet, but he's done a very good job except for asking or complimenting the crowd size that came out to greet him. But empathy's never been a strong suit in the first place.
He didn't hug a mom or hold a baby or shake someone's hand or ask a senior how they were doing. It was really remarkable. He acted like this was a big field trip, and it was the biggest and the best response, and we're going to congratulate each other later. It was typical Donald Trump without an ounce of empathy.
But has he ever been exposed to a situation?
And Jim, those words there show that the president is still very much learning on the job in terms of empathy, learning on the job in terms of how to react and relate to the individuals here who are,
the human element seemed to be absent outside of the self-congratulatory gestures of the conference. I mean, of the press conference. It seems to me it's just concerned about optics, and I want to be. I wish they would be concerned about people.
They were saying that it's going to be key to see the way he has real feelings and real empathy. How does he respond in this first big situation like this? What will you be looking for?
There's the empathy factor. There's the response. There is making people feel like he's engaged and he's going to be a leader throughout.
That's what President Trump is trying to convey today in his visit, and appropriately so. He is going to have to show some real feeling, some real empathy to the people in Texas that have been hit in this devastating manner.
In that way, it remains to be seen what the empathy factor is going to be.
You think they're on message, gang?
I think he understands.
You think they're on message? Let me stop it there because it just goes on and on. You think they're on message about the empathy thing? Okay, so a couple of things are worth noting here. One, President Trump does not have to be an actor, okay? We're not sitting here evaluating whether he should be cast in the role of Iago or whether he should be cast as Desdemona, okay? It's not important. This whole presidents have to show empathy routine. Now, I'm a big fan of Calvin Coolidge because Calvin Coolidge didn't truck with this BS. Calvin Coolidge was basically like, look, here's my job. I'm going to do my job, and then I'm going to go play golf. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back in my room. I'm not going to bother you. It's not important for me to get on the radio. It's not important for me to be a public figure. But now we have to do this whole, well, he didn't shed a tear. I remember during the Obama administration, after there was some gun violence massacre. There was a massacre using a gun, and Obama went out and did a press conference, and he shed a tear. And oh my God, look at the feelings of him. Look how much he feels. He feels for you. He feels for me. He's just Jesus-like in his feeling for everyone. This routine where if Trump would just show a little more empathy, the media would be on his side. Are you kidding? They'd find something else to nitpick. I mean, Melania released a statement yesterday. And here's what it said. It said, the effects of Hurricane Harvey will be felt in Texas, Louisiana, and other parts of the country for many months and years to come. So far, 1.7 million people are under orders to evacuate their homes, and as the flood water in Houston rises, sadly, so will the number of evacuees. I want to be able to offer my help and support in the most productive way possible, not through just words, but also action. What I found to be the most profound during the visit was not only the strength and resilience of the people of Texas, but the compassion and sense of community that has taken over the state. My thoughts and prayers continue to be with the people of Texas and Louisiana. That seems rather empathetic to me, but the overall drive for empathy, I think, is actually a serious political problem for a couple of reasons, and I'll explain those in just one second. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Stamps.com. So, are you tired of waiting in line at the post office? You don't have time to run over to the grocery store and get the stamps. You don't know how to weigh your postage. Stamps.com takes care of all of it. They bring all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your fingertips. You can buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, any class of mail using your own computer and printer, and Stamps.com makes it easy. They'll send you a digital scale that automatically calculates exact postage, and then you can print out the postage directly onto the envelope. You can print it onto a sticker. You can print it onto a piece of paper and tape it onto the envelope. There's no need to lease an expensive postage meter. I use Stamps.com because we here at the office mail things all the time, and there's no reason for us to constantly be running over to a mail shop. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, type in promo code Shapiro. That's Stamps.com, click on the microphone, and then hit Shapiro, and you get a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. So that's pretty amazing. Go over to Stamps.com, you get that 4-week trial plus postage and digital scale. Stamps.com, enter promo code Shapiro. Never go to the post office again. Again, use that promo code Shapiro also so that they know that we sent you. Okay, so I have 2 specific problems with this whole empathy routine from the media. 3. One is that it's obviously hypocritical. The media doesn't care about Trump's level of empathy. They have a goal, which is to paint him as uncaring and mean, right? The Democrats in the media, they have a 3-pronged attack on people in Republican halls of power. They are stupid, they are corrupt, or they are evil. So they've already tried stupid with Trump, and it's only gotten them so far. Corrupt, they're still trying, and it's only gotten them so far. So now, in this situation where he's demonstrated neither stupidity nor corruption, they have to go to their 3rd prong, which is he's evil. He actually doesn't empathize with the people who are in harm's way. Like, really? Do you really think that Trump at night, he just goes, screw those people in Texas, screw them. I'm so glad there's a flood. Do you really think that's who Trump is? Because that would really be evil. I don't think that's who Trump is. He may be oblivious. He may be a buffoon sometimes, but is that what you're seeing here? Because that's not what I'm seeing here. And the media are obviously attempting to exaggerate the case and make the case that he's a meanie, a big meanie, even though he's doing the job, and specifically because he's doing the job. Okay, second point here. Empathy in politics actually makes for bad policy. It makes for bad policy. Now, as I've referenced before, empathy in politics leads you to have empathy for the person who's directly in front of you without looking at the broader cause. So empathy leads you to a situation like Hurricane Sandy, where after Hurricane Sandy, Democrats in Congress decided they wanted to load up the Hurricane Sandy funding with a bunch of pork. Like, load it up with pork. I was there. I remember, okay? We all remember this. Chris Christie is now denying this. That's because Chris Christie is totally full of it. The fact is they did load up the Hurricane Sandy bill with pork. Why? Because they were using empathy as an excuse to be corrupt. So we empathize with the people who are harmed by Hurricane Sandy, and therefore it is very, very important that we load up as much pork into this bill as possible and pass something. And if you don't do it, then you lack empathy. Then you are a bad person. Empathy leads you to focus on the specific beneficiary of a policy as opposed to the disparate and diffuse group of individuals who are hurt by a given policy. So in this particular case, listen, we have FEMA, we have a state government, we have local governments, and they're all doing their job. But the idea here from the Democrats is that empathy really has to come down to how much money is Trump going to spend. Not does the job get done, but we can measure empathy in dollars. We can measure empathy in dollars, which is sort of an amazing thing for Democrats to say, considering the people who give charity in this country happen to be mostly Republican. The average amount of charity coming out of Republican households is much higher than it is coming out of Democratic households, but then we're called selfish. Okay, if you're going to measure empathy in money, I would suggest you start with charity. But for Democrats, what they really mean is that if you're truly empathetic, you're ready to sign a check to the government because the government can cure all your problems if you just give your cash to the government. So, for instance, I saw a headline today that was talking about school lunches in Houston. Apparently, the local government is now saying that they want to provide free school lunches to all the kids in Houston for 2017-2018. Okay, that's their prerogative. But then I saw a tweet from a Democrat saying, this is what Republicans have been fighting against all over the country. Number one, the entire country was not just hit by 51 inches of rain. And people didn't lose, millions of homes, presumably. Number two, the school lunches, I want to be clear about something. Private charity fills a lot of the gap for this sort of stuff. You know how much money the Red Cross has taken in since the beginning of this hurricane? I mean, it's an enormous sum of money. It truly is. You can tell where a lot of the left sort of priorities lie. Linda Sarsour has now put out a tweet calling for people to donate to what she's calling the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund. The Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund is apparently and reportedly a political organizing committee that is designed toward lobbying the government. It's not actually charity that goes directly to victims. It is instead a social organizing force to get people to lobby the government to give more money to the victims of Hurricane Harvey and to, in particular, minority groups who are harmed by Hurricane Harvey. It just demonstrates where the left's head is at in all of this. So, second reason why I don't like the empathy argument is that the empathy argument suggests that you are somehow a better person if you spend more money. Empathy is really a stand-in for cash. Empathy is just a politically savvy maneuver by Democrats in order for them to claim that you're not empathetic enough if you don't want to give them what they want. They're like this all the time, right? This is what I said to Piers Morgan about gun control. His implication was, if I didn't want gun control, it's because I wasn't empathetic enough. For Democrats, you can measure the level of your effectiveness by the level of your empathy. I don't measure effectiveness by empathy. I measure effectiveness by effectiveness. I measure empathy by empathy. And I honestly don't care that much what's in your heart. I care much more about what you do. So those are the first two reasons why this empathy spiel is wrong. One is the Democrats and the media are being hypocritical about it. This is all a ruse. Second, when they say empathy, what they really mean is spending lots and lots of government money. That's the second reason that this empathy nonsense is wrong. And the third reason is because obviously it's a misdirection away from what's going on with Trump. They won't give Trump credit, and so instead they decided to focus on the empathy question. Oh, if only he'd shown his heart. Oh, if only he had gone and he had wept. Oh, if only he had There is something to the idea that if you go into a chaotic situation, and rather than demonstrating that you care, you demonstrate that you're in control, that's actually more useful. If I were a victim of some sort of natural disaster, what I wouldn't care very much about is a politician coming in and giving me a hug or my wife a hug. I don't need a hug. I have a wife for that. And what I would care about is the politician coming in and saying, here's what I'm going to do to take care of this. Right? If I were a victim on the ground, what I'd want from Greg Abbott and Donald Trump is not, oh, I care so much about you. Oh, I care so much. What I'd want is action that was effective, and that's actually what we're seeing in this circumstance. So again, the empathy thing is a ruse. It's used by the media in order to promote a particular policy agenda. Don't buy into it. Don't buy into what the left is doing here. Because the fact is, Trump is doing a good job here, and I haven't seen any evidence to the contrary. And Trump is always going to be Trump. He's never going to say the thing you want him to say. But is that a huge deal? Ask the people of Texas, the ones who are actually being harmed. Did they look up in arms? And one of my favorite things about that clip of the people shouting about Trump, about the Jeff Zeleny at CNN talking about Trump being non-empathetic, one of my favorite things is the guy in the background shouting CNN fake news as this happens. Pretty amazing. But I think indicative of the difference between the political viewpoints. Okay, so I also want to talk about what disaster shows us about the roles of different kinds of human beings. I want to talk about Nancy Pelosi making a statement that actually was really necessary. I want to give you an update on Berkeley. The Berkeley administration still throwing up roadblocks to this event. It's amazing. We'll talk about that and what they can do to facilitate. And also, I want to talk about this Nashville statement that the media are going nuts over. So a lot to get to. But for that, you're going to have to go over and subscribe. $9.99 a month gets you a subscription to the Daily Wire. You get the rest of this show. It's a video show, not just an audio show. So if you listen and you want to watch, you can go over to dailywire.com for $9.99 a month. You can watch this show live. You can watch Michael Knowles' show live. You can watch Andrew Klavan's show live. You can watch the entirety of them. And then when we post them later, we cut out the ads so you can watch them ad-free. So that's pretty cool. You also, if you get the annual subscription, you get this, the very greatest in all beverage vessels, Leftist Tears Hot or Cold Daily Wire tumbler. You will enjoy it. It is glorious. It's heavy. Even Steven Crowder, who tried to destroy it, said that it really took a fair bit of doing to destroy this mug, as opposed to his mug. I mean, I just blew on his mug and it fell apart. We have to be honest here. No false advertising. In any case, you can get that with a $99 a year subscription. Plus, if you just want to listen over to iTunes or SoundCloud later, please subscribe. Please leave us a review. We always appreciate it. We are the largest and fastest growing conservative podcast in the nation.